Welcome to the Jay Tyner Show, where we discuss all things wealth management and retirement planning. And as always, the goal of our team here at Semmax Financial Group is to help you focus more on your life and less on your money. Now, as a reminder, check with your current advisor, planner, CPA, and read our disclosure in the video description below. Subscribe to this channel if you want to stay up to date on all of our new content. And by the way, if you have questions or need a 15-minute free consultation, please visit semmax.com or call 336-856-0080.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jay Tyner Show. I'm Jeffrey Griffin, along with Jay Tyner, Matt Landon. And as always, we want you to focus more on your life and less on your money. So one of the big things, Jay, Matt, you got these myths about retirement. I don't know where to go. I just feel like I'm struggling. So, Jay, the big thing that jumps right to mind at first is you got to have $1 million before you can retire. So I don't know. You got to help me out. Where do you go from there?
Yeah, well, I think there's this unusual thing in everybody's mind where they have this magical number. If I hit that number and I've got that saved in retirement, now I can retire. Might be $1 million. Some people might be 10 million. Some people might be 500,000. Whatever that number is, I think that's the wrong way to go about this. And yeah, that is kind of a myth, is that you got to have this magical number. I've had people come in and sit down with us. They hadn't hit their magical number, and we ran a report, we ran a plan, and they realized they could retire. So I think you need to reverse engineer this. Come in and figure out how much you need to spend in retirement, and then we can go from there. And a lot of times it's less than you think. You might already have your number, or your number may be too high. Right. And so you're going to work longer. You're going to go through these kind of situations and do all the mental gymnastics. And so.
Well,
yeah.
So if once you get that number, or at least you establish the number.
How much you're going to spend.
Right.
Yeah.
And where you're going to be. So, Matt, then other people go, well, it's not really that much because all you need is 70% of what you made when you were working every day, or 80%. So
right.
How do those two play?
And I think this is the exact same thing Jay was just saying, but from the opposite direction, if you will. You know, some people go, okay, I have to have that number. I got to have 850,000 in my 401k, and then I'm fine. Well, other people just look at it and they go, well, if I'm bringing home X, well, when I'm retired, I only need 75%. I only need 85%. That's a very common myth. But the problem there is people often think, well, when I'm retired, I'm going to do less things. Well, guess what? You might be taking more trips up to visit your grandkids. You might be spending more in other areas. And so I think it's really important to have a true sense of what am I spending now, and not give yourself an automatic reduction when you go into retirement. If you end up having too much, well, we can always make adjustments. But I think from a planning standpoint, you need to start off high, assuming you're going to spend more than you might think, then starting off too low and then running into a situation where, okay, I need to recalibrate, but I'm 4 years into retirement.
So you don't want to just enjoy retirement. You want to enjoy it fully.
Exactly.
And wholeheartedly.
Exactly.
Indulge the grandchildren all the way.
Those rounds of golf can start to add up.
If you're a golfer, go for it. Everybody's got something, right? So, Jay, one of the first things I heard when I signed the contract for my very first job was sign up for the 401k because it's free money.
Yep.
And take everything. Now, do you have to max out the 401k when you're looking ahead to retirement?
Well, I think the myth here is designed more about you just went to work, you're young, they said sign up for 401k, you signed up, money started going in, and then all of a sudden 20 years later, you're like, okay, is that it? I'm done? It's all great? Not necessarily. I think in this day and age, you got to be concerned about inflation. It was already brought up. And then the fact that all that money that's going into a 401k is taxable. So when you pull it out, you don't get to spend all of it. If you pull $20,000 out of IRA or 401k money, you don't get to spend that. So it's going to take more money. So I think the idea here is to look at other places where you can save money. If you got some discretionary dollars, you might want to be putting some away in a regular brokerage account. Maybe you want to invest in some different things that you can't do in the 401k, right? Because sometimes things are restricted.
Right, because something people don't realize with the 401k is they go, okay, well, instead of putting it in pre-tax, I'll put it in post-tax. That's going to roll over into a Roth, and then my income's lower. Well, yes, but you've got that 5-year waiting period. That doesn't start until you roll it over.
The 5-year waiting period on a Roth.
On the
yes,
Roth.
right.
So you go, well, I've been maxing it out for 10 years. I'm fine. Not necessarily.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I maxed it out. Maybe I didn't max it out, but I've tried to be good. I've tried to invest. I've tried to look ahead. Well, it's just not working. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to work a few extra years. I'm going to get a part-time
Right.
job. I'm going to retire. Then I'm going to go right back in.
Right.
So what do you think?
I think there's a couple concerns with that being your default plan. You know, there could be health issues that come up that could cause you to no longer be able to work, depending on how physical your job is. My wife is an ICU nurse, and that's a very physically demanding job. Sure. She may not be able to do that, you know, even part-time forever. At the same time, it may not be your own health. It could be your spouse's health. Your spouse could start having health issues, and you need to stay home and be able to take care of them more. Also, you have to be worried about corporate layoffs. You have to be worried about what is the job market going to be like. I think it's better to plan off of, okay, I'm not going to have that additional income. If you want to keep working, that's perfectly fine. By no means am I saying you have to retire. I just don't like people to be in a position where they feel like they can't retire.
But the crystal ball is sometimes foggy.
Very much so.
Sometimes foggy. All right.
My crystal ball fell off the table and broke. So
we'll take up a collection. We'll get you another.
Actually, that crystal ball that I had, you know, it came with a warranty, and the warranty's run out.
It's run out now. It happens to everything. Now, Jay, the other one, a bit of I think parental advice that I got when we bought our home, where you're going to work until that's paid.
Yeah.
I didn't know what else to say, but okay. So do I have to?
You know, I think in the economy they're in right now, you may want to reconsider that. That was the old rule of thumb, that you had to have the mortgage paid off, and then if it's paid off, now I can retire. Or I can't retire until it's paid off. And there's some unique things going on, I think, in the economy right now, and that's where interest rates are. They're just so incredibly low. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could refinance your mortgage, maybe drop down. Maybe you got a 30-year mortgage, and you're 5 years away from retirement, and you still got 20 left. Maybe refinance it into a 15-year, right, or 10-year. The rates are so low, your payment's still probably going to go down, and it's very manageable. And then build out a retirement plan that allows you to pay for those another 120 payments, so, 10-year plan. So I'm just thinking that's an option. But here's what I want to caution you. We've had a lot of people come in, they'll sit down and say, hey, Matt, I want to pay off my mortgage next year. I want to take $100,000 out of my IRA, right, and I'm going to pay my loan off. How much is it going to cost you? Like $30,000
Absolutely.
Plus to do that because of taxes?
That's a huge tax hit.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying not to pay the mortgage off. If your gut says pay it off, it's your money. Pay it off if you feel like that's what you need to do. But I think you can build it into a plan where you can budget it. And again, use your money wisely. If it's good to pay it off, you got some after-tax dollar. Maybe you got a little inheritance from mom or dad. They passed away, and you've got after-tax money, and you can pay your home off. Absolutely. But again, I don't think you have to go with it. I think this is a myth, all right, that you have to have the mortgage paid off before you can retire.
Best first step, always have the conversation, right? Have the conversation. And Matt, we're going to wrap it up. The last myth of the day goes to you. When you hit retirement age, well, stop being aggressive. You can't afford it. It's dangerous.
Right.
It is time to shift down and be conservative into the twilight years.
Right.
Get a Buick.
It's now everyone's driving. You have to drive
against,
a Lincoln.
Nothing against
right?
Lincoln.
You got to get that nice big land boat. No, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a little bit more conservative with your funds. I think the fallacy here is, one, assuming, okay, now I've retired, right? Maybe I'm 62 years old or I'm 65 years old and say, okay, we're done. We're done investing. Well, no, you may have another 30, 40 years from an investment standpoint that you're continuing to go. Well, we got to account for inflation, right? We have to account for unexpected health costs. We got to account for a lot of different things coming up. I don't think you want to just put a pause.
Yeah, and healthcare costs are inflating at double what a regular inflation is.
Absolutely.
And as we get older, what's one of our biggest line item budgets? As we get older, probably healthcare. So again, don't miss out on that.
And along with that, for most folks, you're going to have a couple different buckets of funds. You're going to have some funds in your emergency account. Well, that money's not designed to grow. That money's there to be safe. It's there to be there for you, right? At the same time, we might have a conservative bucket, and that may be a large portion of your funds that are more conservative, that are producing paychecks, that are producing that income you need on a recurring basis. Right. But then you do also need to have some funds that are growing that are a little bit more aggressive. Now, how aggressive depends on the person. It's same thing with driving. Some people drive more aggressively than others, right? But I think to say, okay, you're retired, you automatically have to be conservative, that seems like a myth to me.
So, all right, good information. And that's been our best attempt to debunk 6 myths about retirement. If you'd like some more information, the number to call 336-856-0009. if you have questions. And we hope you subscribe to Semmax Financial Group. For Jay Tyner, Matt Landon, I'm Jeffrey Griffin. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time.